Something old, something new, something borrowed, and something blue. What did we really think of the opening victory against the Seahawks? And will our flashes of greatness propel us to victory over the dreaded Falcons? It's week 2 next on your Packers Fan Podcast.
Hey, Packers fans, this is your unofficial Packers Fan Podcast, and these are the podcasters you're looking for. One of these guys actually kissed the magical 13.5-yard line, and the other guy will challenge you to a game of pinball anytime. And now, it's time to Go Pack Go with your hosts, Wayne Henderson and Troy Heinrichs.
Welcome back to the show by and for fans of your 13-time NFL champion Green Bay Packers. The feedback hotline for this little Packers Fan Podcast is area code 920-3PACK-GO. Again, 920-3PACK-GO. Or check this out. You can go to PackersFanPodcast.com/feedback to be part of the show and let your voice be heard. We have a voicemail widget on the website that allows you to record your message from anywhere in the world and send it to us totally free. In fact, spoiler alert, we've got one from Down Under later on in this episode, which is episode 137 of your Packers Fan Podcast. Tonight is September 13th, 2017, and be sure to take note of the show notes. We'll have links to the things we talk about tonight at PackersFanPodcast.com/137. So, Sir Troy, what are we talking about this week?
We are talking about the Tale of Two Halves. That'd be an interesting novel to read. Up there in Green Bay, yes, I was there. I'll give you my take during the Seahawks game. Plus, we have to mention one Eddie Lacy. And did you know that the Packers Hall of Fame actually turns 50 this year? 50 years old.
That's a lot of Hall of Fame. But then again, we are talking about your 13-time NFL champion Green Bay Packers. We're also going to chat about the latest roster moves and injuries coming out of 1265 Lombardi Avenue. Troy, you're going to have the keys to our Packers beating yet another bird team. And
it's like chicken.
I was thinking a little more like,
Sweet victory is what it tastes like.
Oh, I love the taste of victory with a little bit of teriyaki sauce. Anyway, we also have all sorts of amazing thoughts from you, the G-Force, and me. I'm at Wayne Henderson, your voice acting, podcasting, part owner of your 13-time NFL champion, Green Bay Packers.
And always deferring my opening to Wayne, I am at Troy Heinrichs, your gold ticket package holding part owner of your Green Bay Packers. This show is available on demand and on the go with our free Packers Fan Podcast apps. They're available for iOS and for Android. So if you're traveling down to the ATL for this week's Sunday night matchup, you can listen to us right there on your smartphone on the plane because you can download it in offline mode. Yes.
Let's go ahead and get things kicked off with our weekly Monday Twitter. And now that I know how to do polls on Facebook group poll. What was your favorite part, Packers fans, at Packers Fan Pod on Twitter and in our Facebook community group? What was your favorite part of the Packers win over the Seahawks? And, well, if you saw the game, you won't be as surprised. But we got over 200 votes. And the big surprise on the surface was the fact that only 1% of the voters said Aaron Rodgers was their favorite part of this game.
What?
Now, of course, seeing the game, it makes a little more sense because 44% of the votes were for Mike Daniels. Man, that guy is a beast. And it kind
he had a Hall of Fame game this week.
That was a coming out party. And if he can keep this up the whole season, that Lombardi trophy is going to be so shiny. Along the same lines, 53% of the voters said the defense in general, which is fair enough. And 2%, actually twice as many as what voted for Aaron Rodgers, voted for other. In fact, Charlie Wells, who is Charlie Esquire on Twitter, said favorite part of the game was the look on Wilson's face, the Hawks' growing frustration and irritation in the second half. I'm petty. What of it?
I don't know if they were irritated in the second half. They're pretty irritated in the first half. You see, that guy got kicked out, right?
I saw that.
Short of the entire stadium going, nah, 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 nah. It was pretty much like that.
Yeah. And pretty much these teams don't like each other.
They do not.
Two of the other folks that voted for other that left comments. Now, you've heard of Nostradamus, but have you heard of Cheese-Tradamus?
I know that guy.
You do? It's incredible. I love that name. Cheese Stradamus 97, aka at Bob Bruise. My favorite part was watching Pete Carroll complaining about bad officiating. Fail Mary equals invisible punch. Deal with it.
And I can tell you, if you think it looks awesome on television, you should see what he looks like. I swear he is a bird himself incarnate with his arms flapping all over the place. Like, come on, guys. Come on, refs. All you see is these arms waving up and down the whole game.
So basically that new alternate Seahawks logo could have been a caricature of Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll, it totally could. It would fit so well.
And along the same lines of Cheese Stradamus, Granny Cheese. I didn't see the entire game, so don't think that my opinion is necessarily valid, but I did see our number 88 make a touchdown, and that made my day. Go, Pack, go. And of course, Granny Cheese down there in Texas, she's still working with a lot of things left over from the hurricane. So she's kind of busy. She still supports the Packers, but doing a lot of other things in the meantime, real life kicking in.
I voted 2% other as well, myself. 1% was because of the amazing Packers punch that you could get at this little stand right outside the 1919 restaurant. You get a dark green one, which is all filled with all goodness like tequila and other stuff you probably don't want to know about. And then you have this lighter green one, or the yellow one, which was more like your tropical island rum punch. Oh, yeah, that was amazing.
Well, that would make you vote for other.
And then my other was that we met one of the group that was coming over from the UK and Irish Packers podcast fandom club that came over for this game. And it was just so exciting to be able to meet, I believe it was Dan Barnes.
Yes.
I came all the way over to section 119 just to say hi. Got a picture of him. We put it up in the packerscommunity.com group. So make sure you go over to packerscommunity.com to see those pictures from the game on Sunday. It was just great that be able to, big hug, like, oh my gosh, it's you. It's like, what's going on? And it was his first game. Super excited to be there. It's just great to have that first Lambeau experience and be able to share that with a fan. I think that was totally fantastic.
That is fantastic. As well were some of the short little videos that you filmed before your phone battery started to die. I mean, you did a great job with the reflection of Lambeau Field in the giant Lombardi Trophy. Be sure to check out those videos from Sir Troy at packerscommunity.com, which forwards right to our Facebook group. Good stuff.
Yeah. And we'll get a few more of those when we go to Cincinnati in 2 weeks.
Wow, that is coming up quick.
I know. That's what I said. I was like, I drive a lot to Wisconsin this month.
Yes, you have. So everybody, please go ahead. And if you do the Facebook thing, go ahead and apply to be a member of the Packers Fan Podcast community on Facebook. Again, packerscommunity.com will take you right there. And we approve almost everybody on the honor system and keep the conversations going over there.
Yeah. And then go to packersfanpodcast.com/support and donate what you think this show is worth to you, because I need gas money.
There you go.
And that Packers punch wasn't cheap.
They weren't complimentary little glasses that they were handing out.
No. $12, Wade.
Worth it.
Worth every penny.
Now, besides the punch, I assume that there are many other highlights from this week 1 victory over the Seattle Seahawks.
We always do like highlights and lowlights, and I thought this week, let's do something a little bit different. So as you heard in the opening, let's talk about something old that I noticed. And right away, the coin goes up, Packers win the toss, and what happens? We defer.
That sounds about right.
I want to know, what is the benefit of deferring when all we hear all the time is, let's start fast. Let's score first. We're at home. Let's stick it to them. No, you guys can go ahead. It's fine.
Yeah.
No, why do we defer? Please tell me.
I can understand maybe on the road wanting to make, if you do happen to win the coin toss, if it even flips, you get to defer and get it in the second half. But at home, you're right, Troy. Get the ball, start fast, put this game away on the first drive.
And then you squander the whole situation because you end up using the 3 timeouts at the end of the half. You let them convert the first down. They get the cheap ass field goal. And then you come back with the ball that you supposedly deferred and then go 3 and out on the first series of the second half. Happens every time we defer. Please stop deferring. Let's get the ball and score.
Just like Matt Hasselbeck wanted to do.
Not like Matt Hasselbeck. I said, get the ball and score. that we want the ball and score. That's different.
And something else that's old is, why do we keep wasting timeouts way too early? We need them.
Oh my gosh. Yes, please.
There you go.
You didn't see me, but when we called that timeout in the first half, I stood up and I was like, I'm taking a timeout because I have to go in the tunnel and just yell out a few curse words that nobody can hear me yell in the stands, otherwise I lose my tickets.
I tell you what, no lie, I thought I felt a disturbance in the force all the way here in Southern California.
You could have had the extra one, so you could have done the whole like end of the half thing that you totally botched up. Whatever. But here's the other one. Guess what we did on the first play of the game, and the second, and the third, and the fourth, and the fifth, and the sixth.
Break it down for us, Troy.
We passed the ball. Pass. Where's the run game? We just invested in 2 draft picks to get 2 backup runners for Ty Montgomery. Ty Montgomery worked an entire offseason. Now, I know the fourth quarter, yes, we had a long sustaining drive. We killed the clock from 6 minutes, blah, 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 blah. Why would we do that in the first quarter, though? Let's just keep them off the field completely. Let's get the running game established, because the pass game was not working in the first half. It wasn't working at all. All I saw was Rodgers running around, which is our another point for something old. Rodgers holding onto the ball for extended periods of time. Now, I will give you the credit that the Seattle defense was number 2 after the draft, right? The power rankings had the Seattle defense number 2 after the draft, and they were still in the top 10 after training camp. So Seattle's defense is a good defense. And Aaron obviously had problems finding the open receivers. But at the same time, I'm going to tell you right now, from where I sat, there was the number 88 and the number 80 always open in the middle of the field. 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, dump it off to the running back. 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, dump it off to Marty Saurus Rex. You got to get rid of the ball in 3 seconds or throw it away. You can't keep running around, especially when you have a banged up offensive line.
Amen to that. I can't add anything other than I hope it changes this week.
And then the punting. Let me tell you about the punting.
Again with the punting. Yes, tell me a story about the punting, Troy.
The punting seemed like we were on the right direction, trailed, whatever, compass bearing, whatever you want to call it, in the preseason. And then for some reason, all of a sudden, the punting looks like it's flat. Now, granted, when you look at the field position numbers, it seems like we did a fairly good job in the punting, but the hang time was brutal. I mean, just sitting in the stands in the 56th row, you could tell there was a difference when Seattle punted the ball and when we punted the ball, because the Seattle balls like hung in the air forever. And unfortunately, the Packers ones did not, and that caused some heartaches on special teams. So we need to get some of that Pennywise, channel some of that and let it float up there a little bit.
Kind of creepy, but I like that. Now, you hinted that you're doing something old, something new, maybe something borrowed. Is there some sort of wedding in the future in the family, or
the marriage is that the marriage of the Lombardi Trophy back into our hands is what's coming because of the something new, which was Mike Daniels in the defense.
Oh man, I love a good romance story. Yeah, Mike Daniels. Wow,
huge.
we knew that he was going to be pivotal to the defense, but wow, did he make a statement on opening day?
Yeah, him busting through the line. Plus, you look at Nick Perry, they combined for 1.5 sacks each, so that's 3 sacks total on Russell Wilson. I mean, they stifled the run. I think it was right before that last drive in that first half. The Seahawks up on the board still had negative minus yardage overall. Total yardage minus negative for the Seahawks. It was glorious. It was awesome.
Yeah, so basically, I know that you had some problem with the Packers running game, but the Seahawks didn't seem to have one at all.
You know why?
Because of our awesome defense?
No, because it was the Packers running game. Because it was Eddie Lacy.
That's one way to look at it.
Oh my gosh, we'll get there in a minute. Now, I mean, I don't know what else to say about the defense other than the front seven came to play and made their presence known, and it was glorious. Glorious.
Yeah,
it was just fun to watch them. It was fun to watch them swarm. I mean, I can't imagine what it looked like on TV, but being able to see the whole field and seeing people crouch up in the box, bringing in a safety blitz. I mean, all of it just was magical to see it all happen and break down on the field because they were going nowhere. Sideways, backwards, not forwards. It was a beautiful thing. Hopefully we can do that same thing next week.
That would be fantastic because the defense definitely showed up with a lot of speed, urgency, focus, especially in the first and second quarter. They were just running amok. At least that's how it looked on television, just running amok. And Seattle's like, what is going on?
Well, going into something borrowed then, Seattle borrowed Eddie Lacy from us. And you know what he did this game?
Not much.
I'll just let you guess. You can guess the stat line.
If I had to guess, I think he was pretty close to 0 because I didn't see, if you maybe a yard here and then a minus yard there. Was it close to 0?
You forgot to carry the 1, but yes, 3 yards on 5 carries for the day.
Wow.
It was brutal. So the debut for Mr. Lacy, not so hot in Seattle. They already went to the rookie running back who didn't vet much better. So luckily our defense was amazing. And we borrowed from San Francisco in Quentin Dial and Ahmad Brooks. And that little extra veteran flair allowed stalwarts like Nick Perry and Mike Daniels to do their damage. Saw Clay Matthews out there running around like a crazy person again, chasing guys down. It just really gives the fact that we have some we call it depth in the defensive front seven, so we can rotate some guys around and keep them fresh out there. Plus, it helped out that the offense with the time of possession, holy crap, was it 40 minutes? Almost 40 minutes. That's crazy.
Yeah, with each passing quarter, it looked like we were hogging the ball more and more. And I believe the fourth quarter, we only let Seattle have the ball for 5 minutes tops. We stole the entire fourth quarter.
I love it. Love it. Now, something blue. Now, you think that this would be the color blue, but no. This is BLEW, like blue chunks.
Uh-oh. That's not
that
good.
kind of blue. And I'm just going to let you know right now that it's special teams, right? We already talked about the punting. Now, Crosby, field goals, no problem, right? But the return game needs some serious education because we're fielding punts inside of the 10 when you're supposed to let the ball go and just careen into the end zone. And then when you're not fair catching punts, when you're supposed to, which attributed, I think, to Davis being a little bit more gun shy the rest of the game because he got that first crack right in the opening kick, right? And then he's letting balls in front of him that he should be able to run up to. And then with that speed, continue the run and move forward. He's letting those bounce in traffic where they could bounce into another guy. I mean, it's just preposterous, like what was going on with the return game on the punting side of the equation. We need to fix that for next week big time because we were starting way back in the bad spots of field position, which also helped us stall out those drives and why Aaron Rodgers was having the fits that he was having.
Oh, absolutely. Especially in the first half, our starting field position gave us not much of a chance to make much out of it. It was like so frustrating.
Oh, well, that's all I got from the game. I mean, it was absolutely, oh my gosh. Let me tell you. Okay. So my seats are in section 122, which is on the Packers sideline on the west side of the stadium. The seats I was in this week were 119, which is the east side of the stadium. And the east side of the stadium at 3:00 in the afternoon is in direct sunlight for the entire game. It was hot. So hot. I had shorts, I had a t-shirt and a jersey, and I was sweating, like profusely sweating. Now, I would assume that section is better in the winter because you do get the sun, which keeps you a little bit warmer on those 10-degree games. But, dude, I tell you, I will take the shade any day of the week on the other side of the field. It was so hot.
Yeah, that's kind of getting you ready for next year when the Packers come to LA to play the Rams in the Coliseum.
Yeah.
The only shade.
There's going to be lots of empty seats.
No, they're all going to be filled with green and gold.
That's true too.
It's going to be awesome. But if it's early in the season and you want shade, you have to be in the end zone below this giant scoreboard. And then in the fourth quarter, you get shade. The rest of the stadium, no shade. So here's hoping that game turns out to be November.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I'm glad you made it out unscathed. On television, the weather looked fantastic. And I bet the fans from the UK and Irish Packers, they were enjoying some Wisconsin weather as well.
I think they said there were 30 of them that came over.
Yeah, that's what I heard on their podcast.
Huge crowd. All right, well, let's go ahead and see what the G-Force had to say this week. Who do we got up first there, Sir Wayne?
We have what you might call a plethora of listener feedback this week. Let's start it off and see what is happening from Aiden.
How you doing, Packers Fan Podcast? It's Aiden from Down Under on the game today. Loved our defense. If they can apply that sort of pressure, we are going to go a long way and we will win it all. Offense weren't as explosive as I thought, but as the game wore on, Rodgers got in a comfort zone and took care of business. Green and gold till I'm dead and gold. Thanks, guys.
Aiden, thank you so much. Great to hear from you from Down Under and Green and Gold till dead and cold, even there. And Aiden laying it down. We're going all the way.
Hey, yes, we are. And the best thing about this is that I'm really excited to see what week 2 is going to bring against the Falcons, because the cornerbacks themselves really weren't tested that much in the Seahawks contest because the front seven was doing their job, which was get to the quarterback, get the pressure, get the hurries. And that's exactly why the cornerbacks weren't having to deal with chasing Julio Jones type people or Doug Baldwin down the field. And I think that's the great thing about it. So if we can have that same kind of pressure against a very weak offensive line in Atlanta, things are going to be looking up next week.
Yeah. Did you notice that the Bears, of all people, almost beat Atlanta this past weekend?
And I don't know if that's because Atlanta's that much worse or the Bears are just that much better. And if the Bears are that much better, it's kind of scary looking.
Time will tell. But believe it or not, the Los Angeles Rams scored more points than anybody this week. What alternate universe are we in?
You should have heard the stadium when the score flashed up on the scoreboard. It was like,
wow, the Colts are terrible. But
yes,
with
that too.
Let's continue on.
Hey guys, this is Cameron from Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm extremely excited about this week's win, and I'm looking forward to beating my hometown Atlanta Falcons. Go Pack Go! Love to hear your thoughts. Excited about it.
Excellent. Cameron, thank you so much for giving us a call at 920-3PACK-GO, calling us from deep within enemy lines in Atlanta.
And I'm just glad you're alive.
Unlisted phone number.
Brutal down there in the South, man. You got to be careful. Those hawk, Falcons, Hawks, whatever they are, they swoop down from the sky and they peck out your eyeballs.
What are we talking about?
Those birds, man, they attack. Especially if he's wearing enemy colors down there.
Oh,
got to be careful.
I was getting kind of worried for a minute, but yeah, great thoughts. Great to hear from you, Cameron. Please give us a call again. And yeah, coming to your hometown. Are you going to the game? Are you going to find a way to get in? If so, give us another call. Let us know the details. All right, now we're going to head down to the heart of Texas.
Woo! 1-0, baby. 1-0. Art from Texas again. Wayne, Troy, I'm glad to have you guys back for another winning season. The Packers look really good. Hopefully we can stay healthy. I was really impressed with our defense. Of course, there's always room for improvement, but it was awesome. Awesome. They look great, and hopefully they can continue the momentum and go to the Super Bowl and win it. Just had a real quick question, guys. Do you guys think Martellus Bennett will become a distraction down the road? I don't know. He just seems a little quick-tempered, but he's, I don't know, just thinking what your all thoughts were on that. It's early during the season, so thank you, guys.
Excellent, Art. 1-0. Troy, what do you think about his question about Martellus Bennett? Could he possibly become a quote-unquote distraction?
I like that he brought this up because we were talking about this after the game, and what happened in that situation was that Aaron Rodgers is running the football, and then he dives head first. Why he dived head first? Don't know. I think he could have slid and still gotten the first down. But he dives head first, and then he gets bumped into by a Seahawk. And at that point, Martellus Bennett basically said, you ain't doing that to my quarterback, and literally shoved the guy, which of course got the unsportsmanlike penalty. I don't think that's a distraction. I think that's a team-building move. That is Martellus Bennett saying, that's my guy. You mess with my guy, then I'm going to mess with you. And what you saw as a result of that was Aaron Rodgers said, you got my back, I got yours. Boom, here's a 26-yard completion on that next play where it went right down the sidelines to Marty himself. So I think that was a team-building move, and you're going to see a lot out of Martellus Bennett next week.
And plus, with somebody as big and scary as Martellus, people better not be picking on Aaron Rodgers. In fact, I saw after the game, Aaron Rodgers said that it meant a lot to him that Martellus is already standing up for his quarterback because, trust me, the NFL wants the quarterbacks protected, whether you like that or not. That's the moneymaker. And so keep Aaron healthy, and good job, Martellus. And here's to many more touchdowns.
If that's a distraction, I want more.
Sign me up. Let's see what happens on Sunday Night Football.
Hey, this is Andre in LA. I'd like to start off by saying go Pack Go. Big fan of the podcast. I was very impressed with the defense. The offense did struggle a lot in the first half. It picked up more in the second half. What I was also very impressed with is the fact that the offense stuck with the run a little bit more in the second half. In the past, they've usually been pass heavy, but thankfully they stuck with the run to not put all the pressure on Aaron Rodgers, and I was very happy with the win. Go Pack Go. I believe with this defense we can finally win another Super Bowl. Big fan of the show.
Thank you so much, and thank you for your call, Andre. What do you think about that, Troy?
Well, I'm a big fan of Andre's. Thanks so much for listening. LA all the way. Man, what I love about this is that this is the Packers fan podcast, and not one from Wisconsin this week. We had California, Texas, Australia, Atlanta. This is just fantastic to see Packers fans across the country. And I think this is the time when you can say that America's team is in the heartland of the Great White North, there in the frozen tundra of Green Bay, because we are getting people calling in from all over the place to say, look, this is our year. Defense stepped up. They showed what they were able to do. Andre's right on point. If we can keep this up for 16 games and stay healthy, right? I think that was Art's point too. This is the first time we've been super healthy across the board. If we can remain healthy and keep, the passion and the fire and the camaraderie going, it's unstoppable this year, man. 19-0, possible.
Troy, you've been listening to that Wayne guy on the Packers Fan podcast a lot, haven't you?
Oh, that guy. I thought he was just crazy.
Well, it's very possible. We might even go beyond saying the Packers are America's team. The Packers are the world's
team.
That's right. No matter what the Dallas Cowboys say, and we'll get our say in Dallas in a few weeks. But first, let's go back to Texas for another voicemail.
Yo, this is me, Paul Hernandez from San Antonio, Texas. I want to get my opinion on the game today. Score is 0-0 going into halftime. I don't know what's going on, but the Packers need to get on the board. That's all I got to say. And all I got to say is, go Pack, go. This is me again, crazy Packer fan. I just want to say that is one good game. We could take the W. Yeah. Go Pack, go.
Thank you very much, crazy Packers fan in Texas, and we will definitely take the W. He called in 2 calls that told the tale of 2 different halves of the game, but in the end, a W. Thank you so much for your call. Keep this number handy, everybody, 920-3PACK-GO, and call us after our almost assured victory in Atlanta Sunday night. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly how we felt sitting there. I mean, at halftime, I am in my seat, and I'm just like, I really need to go get some more Packers punch. But I'm just so perplexed right now. I don't know what to do. The offense was just struggling mightily in that first half, especially with the defense coming in 3 and out. And it's like, what's going on? It's almost like the scales have flipped. Yeah, at 1265. This is unprecedented territory, and I don't know how to react to this. And then, of course, the W ends up coming. So I will take the W any way we can get it, but I would really like to see some offensive production down in the ATL this week.
Absolutely. NBC, it's going to be a huge game. The schedule makers really wanted to make sure that the Packers, if they're going to make a statement, they got to make it against a lot of tough teams and the Bengals. But it's going to be a good month to start things off. Troy, we also got an email, though, that did come from Wisconsin.
Yes. Caleb Fisher from Oconto Falls wrote in and said, I wanted to give my input on how great the defense was during the game, and I felt there were so many penalties that should have been called on the Seahawks that they didn't call. Another plus was Aaron Rodgers extending the plays when he didn't have any open receivers. And then I saw Bennett for the Packers getting penalized for the unnecessary roughness call when he stood up for Rodgers, and all I must say, that looked great. Go Pack, go. Bleed green and gold till you're dead and cold. Caleb in O'Connell Falls, Wisconsin.
I love that. Caleb, so great to hear from you again. And yeah, the first game of the year, man, it is so hard to really put your finger on the pulse of what's going on around the NFL. But a win is a win.
Clearly, because the Colts were the highest scoring team, or the Colts were getting wiped out, and then the Rams were the highest scoring team. We're all like, what's going on?
Alternate universe down in LA, the other side of the thinny. And I felt bad for the Colts because, man, Andrew Luck cannot stay healthy, and they've got former Packer backup Scott Tolzien, and boy, did he have a rough day.
Yeah, I think the city of Rolling Meadows here locally was like, Scotty, yeah, maybe you gotta, I don't know.
He'll regroup. They'll be a lot better this coming week.
Let's hope so.
Crazy stuff. Now, we did not get out of the game totally unscathed. Ahmad Brooks already out with a possible concussion. He's week to week, so we're wishing him the best, as well as Brian Bulaga. That hurt when I saw him go down with an ankle injury of some sort. He is also week to week. So I don't know. Is there still a good chance they could be back this coming Sunday night?
The concussion thing, gosh, it is a later game. There's a potential, but I would say, concussions, you're at least out at least a week. Bulaga, this was the weird one. I thought he was ruled out for the game, and then we were driving up there, and on the pregame, they said he was cleared to go, and then we saw him on the sideline, and Mark Murphy comes running down to the sideline, so somebody got hurt. And so, I mean, I honestly couldn't tell you if Bulaga was in the game or not because I was just sweating to death, and I couldn't see through the sweat. But
wow.
At the same time, I guess Bulaga started and then tweaked the ankle, so maybe he shouldn't have been out there in the first place. So that's a really good question to see. Is it just a simple ankle sprain, or is it something bigger that we got to watch out for? And given the other transaction news that happened this week with promoting a few people from the practice squad, I think it was Adam Pankey. Yeah, Adam Pankey came up from the O-line practice squad. So now he's up on the active roster. And then we signed Darrell Green from San Diego State, a second-year player, to backfill Adam's spot on the practice squad with another. So that's another offensive line person. So I think they're a little scared about the offensive line situation right now.
As well, we should be, because whatever it takes to protect AR-12.
Agree. But luckily, we got more weapons for AR-12 going into the Falcons because Geronimo Allison is back.
I cannot wait to see him hopefully catch a touchdown Sunday night so we can put out the Geronimo tweets and Facebook messages. It is so good. We made it through that first game, came out with a victory, and now one more weapon, because he's, around the number 3, number 4 wide receiver, right?
Yeah, that's right. So it would go Jordy, Devontae, Randall, and then, Geronimo should be in there at number 4.
Perfect.
Good stuff. Now, the sad part is that I was completely in left field, apparently, because the 4th running back was not the spot that was released, as I previously predicted. No, it was actually Ladarius Gunter from the secondary, the cornerbacks, that was sent packing and then later picked up by the Carolina Panthers off of waivers. So Gunter was released in order to make room for Geronimo. And, really shocked to see Ladarius Gunter was the one that was let go because, I mean, man, he was put in some really tough situations last year about what he needed to accomplish. So I don't know if this was necessarily his fault for getting cut from the team. Now, granted, we've upgraded the secondary quite a bit, but Ladarius was never going to be a Sam Shields. I mean, we knew that for certain, but when he was asked to play, he played. I mean, here's what Joe Witt said about Gunter. It said that he put him in hard situations in the last 2 games. I probably shouldn't have put him in those situations that I did, but it was the best for the team. Out of the 19 games that we played, he had as many winning performances as anyone on the team. Now, he did have some hard games. Both the Dallas games were hard. That second Atlanta game was hard, but he matched up in both games and played really well. Both Chicago games, he played really well. Houston, we gave him no help, but he played really well against a very good receiver in DeAndre Hopkins. Hopefully, with the addition of the men that we add back to the room and we can take a little bit of that stress off his play, and he doesn't have to take some of the coverage that Sam Shields was taking. He's going to play at a much higher level consistently throughout the year. But the way he went out there and fought, and he did everything that we asked, you can't ask for any more from a man. And I put him in bad situations at times, but I thought it was the best for the team. And you got to make a decision what you think is best for the team, and that's what I did in that case. So those are words from Joe Witt. Gunter's moving on, and we thank him for his service here in Packer country, and we look forward to playing against him in December down in Carolina.
It seems they almost always end up going to a team that is further down on our schedule.
Strategy. I'm sure exactly that's what it's all about.
Anything's possible. So, Gunter, thanks again for everything. Go Pack Go, even though you're now going to be down in Carolina.
That's right. All right, well, shall we get to the big news? Sunday night, to be specific, on NBC. We are going to have a rematch against the Atlanta Falcons, who beat us handily in the NFC Championship game last year. And that was because Kyle Shanahan was running that offense. Yes, remember, he was the guy that put together the most recent edition of The Greatest Show on Turf last season that kept us out of the promised land. But this season is different because guess what?
What?
Kyle is gone. Yes, Kyle is not coaching in Atlanta anymore. Yes, Steve Sarkisian is now in charge of Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, and Devonta Freeman. And last week, where they were able to pull it off versus the Bears, all the people on the Bears actually made the Falcons look weak. So I think where we're going to see some familiar faces, I think we're going to see them in a little bit different context with Steve's style influenced on here. And then with our improved pass rush from last week, I think we got a chance.
Me too.
And the reason for that is because if you remember, the Falcons then said, we beat the Packers. We're going to the Super Bowl, and got their butts handed to them in the fourth quarter by Tom Brady because of one, you guessed it, Marty-saurus Rex. For those of you with short memories, Martellus Bennett was the one that caught 5 passes for 62 yards against the Atlanta defense in the Super Bowl last year. Therefore, I anticipate at least 80 yards and a touchdown for Marty this week. And that's not because I have him on my fantasy football team. Actually, I have him on 2 of my fantasy football teams. But he's going to get 80 yards and a touchdown this week because Rodgers knows Marty has his back. So Rodgers is going to feed him the ball a lot in this contest.
Can't wait. I can't wait. It's going to be awesome.
Now, this game is going to be won in the trenches. The offensive line for the Falcons looked horrific last week, and that was against the Bears. And our defensive 7 is, well, much better. So I didn't see a touchdown against the Seahawks at all. And I think that's going to be the case. Mr. Ryan's going to be running around like crazy pants because we're going to be coming after him. And that's going to really disrupt the flow of the Falcons' tempo. So in the trenches is where this game is going to be won this Sunday. Also, I just want to point out how awesome the Falcons made Jordan Howard of the Bears, like literally turn him into a fantasy stud overnight. And so I think this is where Montgomery comes out to play. And with almost 40 minutes of time of possession last week, I think this is a ground and pound game on Sunday night. We know Aaron Rodgers, for some reason, has this Sunday night dome phobia. And I don't know what that's all about. Hopefully this will be the week that he breaks it. But maybe we just need to put it in Montgomery's hands. Let the running game develop because their defensive line is weak. See what happens. And then the running game obviously opens up the passing game. So I expect to see full-on runnage, if that's a word.
Runnage.
This Sunday night.
Well, whether or not it's a word, it is now, and it's sure going to look pretty. What a way to break in their brand new stadium with a Packers victory.
Speaking of a brand new stadium, Wayne, I think this is the game that Aaron Rodgers actually finally does get rid of the dome funk on Sunday night because this is no ordinary dome. No. This sucker is convertible. Yes. For the first time in 26 years, the ATL will experience a sort of outdoor football experience because the dome is actually expected to be open for Sunday night's contest.
Ooh.
That's because all of the kinks and the mechanics are not completely worked out yet for the way this thing is supposed to operate. So the decision to open or close the dome must be made well in advance. And the weather right now is supposed to be clear and beautiful for Sunday night. The other advantage of the new stadium is that the players won't put on any unnecessary extra weight before the game because it's Sunday and Chick-fil-A is closed.
Well played. I heard that there's a Chick-fil-A in that new stadium. Now,
I love Chick-fil-A.
Oh, I do too. That secret sauce for the French fries, that stuff is liquid gold. But I do have a question. How can the stadium have kinks that aren't worked out yet? It's a Mercedes-Benz. Those things are supposed to just operate like clockwork with no problems.
Yeah, that's what they say about Apple stuff too. We'll see.
Oh, snap.
So those are your keys for the Falcons on Sunday night. It's going to be fun. I love late games, especially when I can watch them from the comfort of my chair.
And you know that it's being shown nationwide. You don't have to try to find somebody with NFL ticket or yada, yada, yada. Turn on the tube. Turn down the volume on Chris Collinsworth, please.
Oh, my gosh. Did you see the amount of hate, like pure, just unadulterated hate for Troy Buck going on the internet during the game on Sunday?
There was plenty. But, on Sunday nights, whenever all of a sudden my wife, she'll say, oh my gosh, Chris Collinsworth, shut up. I'll search Twitter to see who else is saying things in relation to shut up Chris Collinsworth. And there are numerous entries of many different ratings. Clean to not clean at all.
We got to find the shut up Chris Collinsworth animated GIFs or GIFs, depending on what kind of person you are and how you want to pronounce it.
Absolutely. There's got to be plenty going on.
Well, in other Packers news, the Packers Hall of Fame turns 50 this year. It's a special 50th anniversary celebration that will actually take place at the Hall of Fame in the atrium on Saturday, October 21st. The evening's festivities will honor the Packers' 1967 championship team and will run from 5 to 9 p.m. It'll be hosted by WTMJ Milwaukee's Lance Allen. During the event, the atrium will serve a game day-like menu. Tickets are on sale now and only available via Ticketmaster.com and are $95 each for general admission. And each guest will receive a gift bag, a game day seat cushion, and a Hall of Fame collectible pin, and more. Several members of the 1967 Packer squad will share stories at the event, including Pro Football Hall of Famer Dave Robinson, 2018 Pro Football Hall of Fame finalist Jerry Kramer, four-time Super Bowl champion Marv Fleming will also be in attendance. You can read more about this story in our show notes at PackersFanPodcast.com/137.
That would be a great event to be able to go to. Any chance you may make it up for it?
No, I am moving my house. So, no, I will not be able to be up there because I will still be putting finishing touches on the new place.
Got a whole new podcast studio that'll be coming our way.
Can't wait. It's going to be glorious.
Another special event before we dig into a little bit more about the upcoming game is the holidays are upon us, Troy. This is September, and Saturday, September 30th is the annual International Podcast Day. Can I get a what?
What?
International Podcast Day, September 30th. It's a day where podcasters and podcast listeners celebrate each other for well over a 24-hour period. And there's lots of fun things planned, lots of live podcasting going on. In fact, on International Podcast Day, Saturday, September 30th at 7 p.m. Central, and we'll have more details in next week's episode as well, but 7 p.m. Central on Saturday, September 30th is when they're going to include the live streaming of the annual People's Choice Podcast Awards.
Yes, that's something that you guys all helped us be a nominee for this year in the sports category. So if you're interested in watching the event and hopefully us win, that would be fantastic. You can do that at podcastawards.com, and that'll be at 7 p.m. Central Time on Saturday, September 30th. That is 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific.
It's going to be fun. Now let's dig into some juicy tidbits about this upcoming game. The official Green Bay Packers dope sheet has been created yet again, like they've been doing for decades. And we will link to this week's at PackersFanPodcast.com/137. It's all focused on the Packers at Falcons Week 2 game. And basically, the headline is the undefeated Green Bay Packers traveled to Atlanta to take on the just barely 1-0 Falcons. That's, I kind of embellished. In the first ever NFL regular season game played at Mercedes-Benz Stadium Sunday night, 7:30 p.m. Central. It is the second straight year that Green Bay plays at a new stadium in week 2, but let's put that in the past where it belongs.
Let's just hope all these fields aren't giant red blistering colors like the purple ones last year.
Oh, that was horrific. No, this is a Mercedes. It's got to be, classier, right?
Black leather for everybody.
We'll find out. As long as the field is not made of leather.
Right.
It's also the third consecutive time Green Bay has faced the team it played in the NFC Championship game the next regular season. The Seattle Seahawks and the Chicago Bears also have that distinction. And 9 of the last 10 regular season matchups between the Packers and Falcons have been decided by 8 points or less. Can you say heart attack medication?
Got it handy right here.
8 points or less. That's too close. When it's a road game, that is way too close. And although some folks have kind of poo-pooed AR-12's indoor play, check this. Dating back to 2008, Rodgers has recorded a passer rating of 111.2 in indoor games during the regular season by completing 580 of his 854 passes. That's 67.9%. For 7,247 yards, 59 touchdowns, and only 12 interceptions. Aaron ranks number 1 in the NFL in passer rating in games played indoors over that span when there's been a minimum of 100 pass attempts.
I take back everything I said about a curse in the dome. But mine was specifically curse in the dome on Sunday nights.
Right. That's a whole different stat. We couldn't find numbers on that. And
wow, that's pretty impressive. Number 1 in the dome.
There you go. Go AR-12. He's going to go fast. And at least here in the U.S., NBC will broadcast the game to a national audience. Play-by-play man Al Michaels joins Chris Collinsworth. Please be quiet. They're in the booth with Michelle Tafoya reporting from the sidelines. Notable connections. Of course, Packers linebacker Clay Matthews is the elder cousin of Falcons tackle Jake Matthews. So last week we had the Bennetts. This week we have the Matthews. And Falcons defensive coordinator Marquand Manuel started 16 games in Green Bay way back in 2006. So be sure to get yourself totally ready for Sunday night's game by reading the full official Packers dope sheet for the Packers at Falcons game. And we will link to it, make it easy to find, PackersFanPodcast.com/137.
Yeah, the game time weather will be beautiful inside the dome, but if the dome is open, which it is planning to be, it'll be a 82-degree, partly cloudy evening outside with no residual tropical storms in sight.
Sounds like another good weather game for the Green Bay Packers.
Now, Wayne took it home last week because he picked the under, at least, so we were a little off on the scores completely. So the honors are yours once again. Now, early showings have 54 as a total for this week. And in the last 3 games against the Falcons specifically, the over has won every single time.
All right. So 100-0. Wait. Okay. I'm snapping out of it. I do predict a Green Bay Packers victory Sunday night, Troy. Yep. You heard it here first.
Shocked.
Yes. Packers 28. Falcons 21. No fancy high scores, low scores, missed extra points. Just a nice, basic, clean game. We're going to win by a touchdown.
Yeah, with the Atlanta Falcons giving up a lot to the Chicago Bears running attack and the fact that their offensive line isn't quite what it was last year, I think this is a Packers victory as well. You took the under. I'm going to take the over and go with the streak of 3 games on the over every single time. I'm staying within the 8, though. Packers 30, Falcons 28. That's a nail biter.
That is way too close for comfort, Troy.
Yeah. Mason Crosby with the win.
Hey, we will take that win, and we will ride that undefeated streak as far as we can. All right, so I say Packers 28, Falcons 21. You say Packers 30, Falcons 28. Love it, Troy. I see good things in our future for the Green Bay
remember,
Packers.
A 2-0 start against these two teams is literally like a 4-0 start in the NFC when it comes to that NFC title game at the end of the year, because that'll be tiebreakers over Seattle and Atlanta.
Exactly. That's what makes last week's game and this week's game so huge, is they very well could decide who goes where in the playoffs. And we would sure like teams such as the Falcons and Seahawks, if they make it to the playoffs, to have to come to Lambeau Field in January.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait. One game at a time, though. It's hard to focus. It's hard to focus. We want to send out special thanks yet again for our Patreon supporters. Thanks go out to the Texas-only Green Bay Packers Fanatics Facebook group, supporting us at the Brett Favre level. And again, much like Brett Favre, those Texas-only Packers fans prove yet again that they never give up. Also, at the Curly Lambeau appreciation level, thank you to Alex J. for supporting the show. We greatly appreciate it. Very well done. And you too can support the show as well. Troy, give us the details.
Yeah, we're in year 7 now, people. So we want to build up this community. So again, PackersCommunity.com will get you over to the Facebook group. Start chatting, start joining. There's a good number of you out there, over 2,000 strong, listening to the show. So we definitely want to get you involved over there at Facebook. We want to see your picks from wherever you watch the game, whether that's in the stadium or at home in your lazy boy chair. Just send us your pictures, show us your Packers gear, show us your memorabilia. We want to share it with everybody around the world. But most importantly, we need your financial support, not just because we need more Packers punch or better parking when we go to the games, but because we want to make this show much more interactive for all of you, do some video stuff, do some post-call-in shows. We want to make sure that this is the best Packers podcast potentially out there. And to do that, you need to go to PackersFanPodcast.com/support. Now, we do have a page also on PackersFanPodcast.com that'll let you support the show in a bunch of different ways. Like even if you just do your Amazon shopping for your Amazon stuff through our Amazon affiliate link, there's links for that at PackersFanPodcast.com. Please do that. Or if you can give monetarily, then again, PackersFanPodcast.com/support. Pick whatever level you'd like. You could even be on the show and discussing the Packers live with us. So if you just want to do that, go ahead and over PackersFanPodcast.com/support. We thank you for your support.
Amen to that. And speaking of thanks, Dan Barnes 47, who on Twitter is at Dan Barnes 501, from the UK says, pleasure to meet you, Troy. Hope you enjoy the game. Look forward to hearing about it on the pod, which you just did. But that is so fantastic. It still blows me away. International fans of the Green Bay Packers coming all the way to Lambeau Field. And I was a bit jealous to see the two of you having such a great day there at Lambeau Field. It looked fantastic. Great photo of you guys. Yeah,
and Dan was great, wearing his green and gold, but more importantly, wearing his UK flag as a cape. Going around up and down the stadium steps. It just looked glorious in the breeze. So kudos to those guys for coming on over and making it to the first home opener since 2012 and making it fantastic.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that we had to wait that many years to get another home opener. That needs to be something in the future that switches every other year.
Agree.
Yeah,
agree.
That was a dry spell, and the Packers got us the victory for the home opener. And just a reminder, like you mentioned, Troy, we have changed our Facebook focus from the fan page, which we'll keep active, at least for now, to instead have our Packers Fan Podcast community Facebook group, because with a group, it's so much easier for you to converse amongst yourselves. And that way the conversations really keep going. So you can go to PackersFanPodcast.com/Facebook or PackersCommunity.com. Join up and we will go from there. We also got a quick comment from Sue Checky on the Facebook group. She is very happy. Mike was a beast. Cantrell made a sack and Ty made a TD, which made Sue smile from ear to ear with her 3 favorite Packers players all doing well in that game, Troy.
Oh, man, it was just so much fun to watch. I am super amped for Sunday night. I was nervous about Sunday night going into the season, but I am filled with hope. Hope that we are going to kick some butt on Sunday night and be off to a fantastic start to this 2017 campaign.
So be sure to keep our phone number handy. That's area code 920-3PACK-GO. And call us with your thoughts as soon as the game is over, while all the energy is fresh in your voice of everything that you liked about the game. Give us a call. We'll share it on the podcast next week.
And if you're still not awake because you fell asleep or something, it's okay to call in the morning.
That's true. Anytime
we'll take
before,
it anytime.
Anytime before noon on Wednesdays, noon Pacific.
Operators are standing by as long as they didn't have 2 Packers punches. All right. The Unofficial Packers Fan Podcast is over and not affiliated with the NFL or the Green Bay Packers. However, if you'd like to make that happen, just tell them to email us at media@PackersFanPodcast.com. And again, don't forget to become one of our Packers Fan Podcast MVPs. That's right, PackersFanPodcast.com/support to see how you can help make the podcast even better.
And like you mentioned earlier in the show, we have our free Packers Fan Podcast app. We've got one for iOS. We have one for Android, so everybody can get the free Packers Fan Podcast app. Listen to the show on the go. It's the easiest way to consume the podcast. And follow us on Twitter at Packers Fan Pod. On Mondays, we'll have our weekly Twitter poll, but also, if you join that Facebook group, we'll have it there as well, because Troy showed me how to do it.
That's right. Me, I'm at Troy Heinrichs on Twitter. That is at Wayne Henderson over there. Again, PackersFanPodcast.com/Facebook or PackersCommunity.com. Both places will get you there. We want to converse with you all season long, especially at 11:30 p.m. on Sunday night.
And no matter where you are in the world, you can go to PackersFanPodcast.com/feedback to get in your feedback and be part of the next episode. Thanks again for listening to this episode. We can't wait to talk to you next week again here on the Packers Fan Podcast.
Be sure to subscribe in Apple Podcasts and leave us a review so you don't miss any of our fantastic coverage this season. Now, let's get those guys a big Go Pack Go cheer all the way up here in the 920 to the ATL. We're going to take it to the Birds. That's right. Birds stew one more time. Let's go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Go Pack Go. Go Pack Go. Go Pack Go. And another first down.